Well, as you know, mandatory data breach reporting is in place in Australia, and I'd like to talk to you about a very hot product in this space, which is going to help us with some of the problems caused, Illumio. So Illumio is a micro-segmentation product, but let's talk first about how breaches might happen. So typically a breach would happen on a low value asset, could be a POS system, for example, and then the malware maps out connections, attacks high value assets, collects the data, and then sends it out. So in this diagram here, we would not expect data to be traveling from the database server out, or even from the database server into a web server. And this is what Illumio helps against. So firstly, let's talk about how it actually happens. What do we do? So we install agents, which are called virtual enforcement nodes, in every host, and these hook into either Windows or Linux via the operating system's firewall and IP filtering tables. And we set up some data about each VEN, its role, application type, environment, and if it's a multi-site geolocation. This is used to slice and dice the map it produces later on. So these VENs communicate back to the on-prem management engine, or alternatively to Illumio's cloud version, and that produces a map, something like this. Now, this looks very complicated, but the whole purpose of Illumio is to be able to slice and dice this live view any way you wish. So that view could well become this view, where you can see different applications and their dependencies quite easily. So typical Illumio security workflow would be, firstly, we map out all our applications by installing the VENs in each host and set those labels up, and then we look at the traffic flow in a test mode, sorry, not a test mode, in a build mode, where we see what traffic is flowing, and then we can work out policies which suit. So yes, we don't want to see data flowing from a database server out the firewall. Normally that would communicate with an application server. So having set up our security policies, then we can see what sort of behavior is happening which is anomalous to that. And then, in fact, having found an application which looks to be a bit sus, we could quarantine that. We could stick it in an area which actually has honeypots in operation, so we can see the behavior of the malware. And we can set it in two different modes, either test mode, where anomalies are reported on, or in secure mode, where they're actually blocked. So one of the advantages of Illumio is the rule setting. They make that very simple. So as it says there, Morgan Stanley reduced their firewall rules by 90% with Illumio, and another customer 15,000 firewall rules down to 40 security policies. And once you've set the agents up in your hosts, if you were to move those hosts into a cloud like AWS, they're still there. They're still checking flows between hosts, so the whole security system you set up is still in operation. Key points for Illumio: provides visibility of apps and their traffic flows and dependencies with a real-time map. And obviously unusual traffic flows can be alerted or blocked. Simple rules can be moved to the cloud, and high-value apps can, like PCI compliant apps, can be ring-fenced, and traffic flows can even be encrypted if you wish. Interesting product, Illumio. Fairly recent, I think 2014 is when they were formed, and really worth having a look.